right, and hello, hello. We are ready to get this gravy train started. So, what I got for you today is a Bulma deck list. That's right. I took her out for a spin and got absolutely trounced on. All right. I was like a sheep among a flocks of wolves, just taking L's from everyone. Yeah, that's pretty much how it went down. But in all honesty, it's not Bulma's fault. It's my fault because I'm not a good player yet. I'm a pretty good player. I'm a pretty okay player. I'm getting up there, but I was gaining my experience, and after playing Bulma for a while, I realized that there were some things I could have improved on. So I went through. I've been making like what I consider like a basic deck for now. Like that's way better than what I made before. Because before I just drew some cards together from her archetype and just scattered and prayed, and just I just wanted to see what her weakness was, and um, I think we'll talk about that at the end. But right now, let's get into the deck. So Boma, as you can see on the table, you can't include non-Earthling battle cards in your deck. So Defending Friends is not in this deck at all. All right, I wish I could throw her in there, but I can't. It just is what it is. Next, you can draw one card and add up to one card from your life to your hand. So no matter what, turn two, you're always going to draw, and it's up to you whether you want to go down a life or whether you just want to keep at six life. Because chances are, right, your opponent has already attacked you, so you're already at like six life. You know what I mean? So you don't have to bother taking another life unless you want to. Because again, blue decks mostly don't get started until like four life. That's when we can start throwing our super combos and everything. So I'm just saying, excuse me. I'm just saying, you can turn two. You're always gonna awaken. I just don't see why you wouldn't, and you get to draw a card. The other thing is, so when you awaken, when your life is at six or less, you draw a card, and you can't activate on skills on cards with an energy cost of four or more in any of your areas for the game. That means she is basically barred from every secret, at least to my knowledge. She is basically barred from every secret except for the one that came in this specific set. All right, because you can't activate any of them once you choose to awaken. And I've seen a lot of Bulma decks with that Black Pan, and I'm pretty sure that you can't use that because that is an 8 drop. Let me just check. Luckily, I have all my cards around me because I've been making a whole bunch of decks around. So let me just check. Yeah, she's an 8 drop. So you can't. I actually, that's no. I don't think you can play her. You can't even activate her counter ability because it's like a permanent. It's a rule you're stuck with. So now let's go to the back. That feels like a heavy-handed punishment, but once you flip to your leader side, you're gonna start ramping like crazy. And I just didn't understand how to ramp. So if you have seven or less energy, and your blue earthling cards would be removed from a battle area by a skill or KO'd, add that card to your energy and rest mode instead. When you're I don't know why this does say yours. Does that say you on the card too? No, it just says it doesn't have R over here. It's supposed to say when your blue Earthling card attacks, draw one card. So again, every card in your deck is gonna be Earthling. So whoever you swing with first, just remember that you are getting an extra card. And then her activate battle, which I think makes her really monstrous. Place one of your blue energy at the bottom of its owner's deck. Choose up to one of your blue Earthling cards, and it gets plus 15k power for the battle. All right, so that is a super combo and a half, and that can effectively end games if you're playing it like you need to be playing it. All right, you could really do a lot of damage to your opponent. But the thing, my failures with her was that I didn't understand how to ramp with her properly, and I didn't there were just a bunch of things I was doing. Like I held on to my secret too long, and you're really just not gonna hold on to your secret because it just gives you more cards for you to draw to. So with this deck, you are gonna draw a card, and I tried to um set it up so I could talk about the cards in motion, but apparently I did it wrong. So let's start with the secret, right? So this is her secret. This is what you need to play with this deck. If your opponent has two or more energy and you place this card from your hand into your Z deck face up, draw two cards and then add up to one blue card from your hand to your energy and rest mode. Alright, so you're basically plusing one, but you're getting another energy, which is another 15k attack. It's a bunch of nice crazy stuff. and then you can remove this card in your Z deck from the game, choose up to one of your blue cards, and switch it to active mode. So you can switch up to your Yamchas, get them out there. There's just a bunch of interesting ways that this can just open up your opponent. Next up, um, we have a card that's probably going to get real expensive. Brains of Universe 7. All right. When this card is played, you draw two cards and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So one of the things that Bulma has a problem with is getting rid of cards, especially cards with barrier. Oh my god! And because you don't have anything higher, and because you can't play cards higher than three energy costs, you're pretty much stuck. I mean, higher than four or higher. You're pretty much stuck having to play below three. So you will make a big board, and your opponent might not kill your board, but that's okay because you're gonna have a bunch of things to swing at them. And then furthermore, if your leader is blue or a Universe 7 card, this card gets plus 10k power for the turn and switch up to two of your energy to active mode at the end of your turn. Your opponent is not going to want to let you keep this card out on the field for too long. All right. They're just not going to want to deal with that. They're crazy to let this stay on the field, and because the longer this guy stays out, the more value you get out of it. All right. Next up, we have Heroics Prospect. Now, I did have it at three. I think I'm going to bump it up to three. But I think we all know what Heroic Prospect does. You have a Unison out. You negate the attack, play this card, and during your opponent's turn, um, you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by two. When this card is played, your opponent can attack with battle cards or energy costs greater than their current energy for the turn, unless they choose two cards in their hand and place them at the bottom of their deck in any order. This is real nice to see turn two. Like, you will want to see this card turn two. Because if you don't, if you run into Red Vegeta, if you run into Piccolo, if you run into Arinsu, you will get washed real fast turn two. All right. All those decks have amazing ways of just launching like seven or eight attacks at the beginning of the game. And the issue with Bulma, I'm sorry, we didn't even talk about this. Her power is 5k, and on the back is 10k. All right, so she is a 10k leader, and a lot of cards will just clear that 10k hurdle and make you give them cards. So you're gonna play a bit of a defensive game. Now she does have some defensive tools, and we're about to get into them. But first, let's talk about cards you want to see in your opening hand. So first off, reliable assets. If your leader, when this card is played, you draw one card. If your leader is a blue Bulma card, you place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck. Then play up to one blue Earthling card with the energy cost of one from your drop with its skills negated for the turn. All right. Now these cards, this is actually kind of funny, and I didn't understand that this was how this worked. Um, when you place this card at the bottom of your deck, because you're Bulma, this card actually it doesn't go to the bottom of your deck because it is being removed from the battle area by a skill. So it would instead go to your energy. And as you see from these three cards they all place themselves in a drop. So these are going to be your ramp cards, and you are going to want to see them. Oolong, Reliable Assist. When this card is played, you look at the top five cards of your deck, add up to one blue Earthling card with the energy cost of three or less to your hand, shuffle your deck. And if your leader is a blue Bulma card, you place this card at the bottom of its owner deck, then play up to one blue Earthling card with an energy cost of one from your drop with the skills negated for the turn. Again, it's value upon value. All right. And then for this one, if your leader is a blue Bulma card, you place this card into its owner's drop, then add up to one self-defense or hold point capsule from your drop to your hand. All three of these cards, you want to see at least one to two of them in your first turn. That's why I maxed them out at four. Because if you see these cards, you're going to be off to a good start. Because even if you can't get their second ability to get something from the drop, you can still send them and you can still place them in your energy. So when you start your second turn, you're at two energy. And I think that's a way better move because now, well, actually, when you start your second turn, you're going to be at three energy. And then you're always just going to be one energy ahead of your opponent, which is going to allow you to do wonkier things. Because if you go in one of the games I was playing, I went down to like zero energy. All right, and that was crazy. And I was still holding on, but you want to if you want to use her, I think the sweet spot for her is like 5 to 7 energy. That's where I think you want to be at. You want to be five or maybe like four, definitely above three. You never want to go below three because that's three super combos just waiting to. Those are three super combos to save your life. But once you're in the four and higher, you can just do extra stuff, get rid of energy to do outrageous things. Now let's talk about. Again, I know I want to do the list, but I feel like this is, guys, really important. You're gonna want four of heroic prospect is entirely up to you how you want to split that. I'm thinking about three. Four might be a little bit too much, but these three guys you definitely wanna see four of. Now let's talk about some of the other fun things. I have her at four, Adventure for a Wish. So when this card is played, you choose up to three of your blue earthling cards other than this card, and they gain blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. At the start of your opponent's main phase, choose all of your blue earthling cards with energy cost of 3 or less and switch them to active mode. So so the combo I had with her, right, is like I would have a bunch of swings, like with Yamcha, um, and just anything else that I could have swung with. And then I would play the Hopoi capsule. If your leader is a blue Bulma card, you have an Earthling card in play, and you place one of your energy into its owner's drop. You choose one. You play up to one Bulma card with an energy cost of one from your deck, then shuffle your deck. And I would normally use that first effect to get her out, and she's going to, and this is during my turn, and now she's going to give three cards that I just attacked you with blocker, and at the start of your main phase, they're all going to switch to active mode. It's very, very good, and I love it. So this is why I have four of her. Um, and then we have, and and let me finish talking about the whole poi capsule. You can also play up to one blue earthling card with the energy cost of one from your drop. And if it's your opponent's turn, choose up to one of your cards, and it gets plus 30k power for the turn. I'm thinking about upping this up to four. It's really good. It has a lot of things that can help you out in a pinch, and you can activate them during your turn. Like you can play this one during your turn when you attack. Get out endless dreams and then send endless dreams to the drop to the bottom of your deck, where she will instead go to your energy to grab this back. So I think that's real interesting how that plays around. You also have self defense. If your leader is a blue Bulma card, you have an Earthling card in play, and you place one of your energy into its owner's drop. Draw two cards, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of their deck. So it helps you draw. It gets rid of a card that doesn't have barrier, and it's very helpful. The only thing is it is activate main, so only during your turn. Next up, we have two of the Ox Kings, Warrior Toughness. Now this card I'm iffy about. If this card is in battle, when your energy is placed at the bottom of its owner's deck, this card gets plus 1100 power for the battle, and it can't be removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill for the turn. So it makes him a 15, which is okay. Um, but he does allow you to look at the top five cards of your deck, place up to one of your blue Earthling cards into its owner's drop, then shuffle your deck. So he does he what I'm saying, what I'm getting at is this. All right, he's not exactly bad, but he's not exactly great. But you do need some 1500s, and it makes me a little sad because there's not like a lot of dual attack in this deck. Um, and the only double strike you really have is your Yamcha. And here's how you play this Yamcha, right? If your leader is blue and your battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less is attacking, you play this card from your energy and switch the attack card to this card. So if I am attacking with this Bulma, for instance, and then I play him for my energy, he stays in active mode, and my opponent has to deal with a 20k double strike that will attack twice. I think that's really that's how the card works. All right, we were going over this at my table just to be sure. But yes, he does stay in active mode after the first when you play him from your energy. When you attack with him though, he will go and rest himself. So he doesn't have dual attack, but it's almost like he has dual attack. So I always play this guy in my energy because this is if you're looking for a card to charge, this is who you charge. All right, that just is. Turn one, I'm charging him. All right, turn two, I'm charging him because I'm playing him for my drop eventually. Next up, we have Bulma, Dream Chasing Girl. When this card is played, you draw one a card and then play up to two blue Earthling cards with energy cost of one from your hand. So she allows you to just flood the board, and you do have a lot of one drops again. Excuse me. You have the Ox King, you have Poir, you have Oolong, you have Bulma, you have another Bulma. There's just a lot of things, and these cards will go into your hand. You will draw them, of course you will. and she just allows you to flood the board up. So in case you want to get set up with a Adventure for a Wish, she'll let you get 2 cards onto the field. You play Adventure for a Wish, and now you have a full team of blockers that your opponent has to somehow be really nifty and getting rid of. Now, who haven't I talked about? We talked about Yamcha. Oh, let's talk about Chi Chi. So I love Chi Chi, and I think I'm gonna put her in the 4 drop. Um, because when this card attacks, play up to 1 blue earthling card with the energy cost of 1 from your drop. She does not negate their skills. All right. So basically, put she can recycle these 3. Ooh, is that my voice? She can recycle these 3 cards, so you continuously recycle your energy. She's really good. I'm actually think I'm gonna bump her up to 4. I feel like 4 is the best. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't want to have too many cards, but I feel like going 55 in this deck is okay because you are doing a lot of drawing. You are getting a lot. There's a lot of cards you are sending from your deck to your drop, and there's just a lot of winning that you are doing. So it's just being good enough to capitalize on it. There we go. There's my other cheat sheet. I actually have the real card deck in front of me, so I can actually look and be like, oh yeah, yep. Um, let's see. Now, again, we talked about Heroic Prospect for our super combo, but I did throw in 4 of the Power Sun Gohan powered Unshackled. Um, because again, you will need. Sadly, you can't use his first effect because your leader does not have SH in its character name. But if you can get up to like 5 energy, you can throw this guy onto the field, just play him out right, so your opponent can't get rid of him, and then you can do your 1 energy to sort of stop your opponent from trying to wreck your face. So you do have some options with that. Um, Again, it's very rough. I won't lie. I wish they gave me a little bit more defensive options, but you just got to be creative with it. And then I got my 3D magics. Again, a lot of these things I'm keeping at 3 because I don't really need to see 4 of them. Again, Heroic Prospect and Self Defense, or Heroic Prospect and D Magic are the only ones I would probably bump up to 4 if I had to. Oh, and I forgot to talk about this Yamcha. So we also have Yamcha's Sharp Senses. He gets an He's a counter attack, negate the attack, and play this card. If your leader is a blue Bulma card, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by placing 1 of your energy into its owner drop instead of paying its energy cost. So again, he's free. You're freeing up energy that would be better off in a drop that you can recycle with Chi Chi in order to negate an attack. You know what I mean? Double strike, blah 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 blah. So again, I think this deck has some really good options. Again, Ox King is like, I sort of want to go down to 1 and change that to a Heroic Prospect for 3, just so I have a bit more defensive options. And I think that's and we gotta talk about the super combo. So we are using Shu supporting a comrade. I have seen the Great Saiyaman super combos, but I honestly prefer this one. Because I just like the idea of placing 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck to draw 2 cards. This lets you set up for a whole poi capsule because if you have this Bulma in your hand, you can sort of use this to get rid of that Bulma, draw 2 new cards, and then capsule this Bulma out. So that's how I play that. Next up on our list is our Z deck. So we've got the Adventure Partner, Son Goku. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of its owner's deck, and then you place 1 of your energy into its owner's drop, switch this card to active mode. And he is a deflect barrier blocker, so he is going to hit the field, and he is going to be swinging a lot, depending on how much energy you have on the board. Next up, we are using Toninjinka Fearsome Ability. If your leader is blue or white, ignore the specified cost of this card in your Z deck. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to hidden mode. Then switch up to 1 of your energy to active mode at the end of the turn. When this card is removed from a battle area or switch to hidden mode, choose up to 1 of your cards and all of your opponent's cards and switch them to revealed mode. So he definitely I definitely threw 2 of them in there. He's a deflect barrier blocker, 15k. He's gonna get stop your opponent's cards that are really annoying, and yeah, he's really good. That's why I'm thinking about bumping him up to 2 and this Frieza down to 1. Honestly, but Frieza also lets me get rid of a card, except he lets me get rid of that card permanently. And it has to be a 6 or less, where as opposed to the fearsome ability, which doesn't really, which targets any card as long as it doesn't have barrier. What I like about Frieza as well is, so we get rid of a card, one of my opponent's battle cards with the energy cost of 6 or less, place it at the bottom of my opponent's deck, and we switch one of your opponent's energy to active mode and switch up to one of our energy to active mode as well. So this is a good way to sort of set myself up for the next turn because my opponent is already going to stand up in energy. I'm just helping them a little faster. Next up, we have Beerus, Area Annihilator. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, after playing a Rinsu and Gamma, I thought I would never see this guy in one of my decks ever, 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 ever again. All right, I just thought I was never gonna see him again because I didn't feel like he was doing the world for me. You know what I mean? Like he was there, but I didn't feel like he was really holding it down for me. So but see, because the problem is this, right? Your opponent, not only does your opponent need to have 3 energy, but you sort of need to have 4 energy to spend. And if you don't have 4 energy to spend, you're sort of like, oh, you know what I mean? You're not really doing anything with that. So I don't really include him in any of my blue Z decks, but this is a deck I would include him with because he bypasses that Earthling thing since he's coming from the Z deck. And because he's lower than 3, he can help me get rid of barrier cards. So I'm very happy about that. He is your only answer to barrier. So keep him alive. That's all I'm going to say about that. We have Cell, which is our board wipe. And again, he's a 25k crit. All right, doesn't get better than that. I put 2 of them in the deck because you never know. Now here's the thing. I'm sort of torn between um, Final Battle Wish and Wish After Conflict. All right, these two unisons can't attack, but um, Final Battle Wish lets you stand up one of your energy, and when they get to 7 markers, you can choose all of you and your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, place them at the bottom of their deck in any order. You're not using that 7 drop activate main. All right, you just ain't. And then there's also, however, this Krillin lets you get rid of one of your opponent's cards, and it's more likely that you're gonna hit this 7 than you will the other one. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of this one. I know. Actually, I have a very good idea of what I'm gonna put in for that. And before I actually put it in, though, I have Mighty Blast in. You know, you always gotta have that 1Z extra, and this is just the blue one that you got. Now, who I know exactly what we're gonna put in here, though. Um, oh my God, what is your name? Android 18. Bam. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah, unknown threat, 3 drop, double strike. Um, yeah, double strike, blocker, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, place it at the bottom of his owner's deck, and then switch this card to active mode. And then 0, your opponent places 1 card from their hand to the bottom of his deck, and you switch up to one of your energy to active mode at the end of your turn. So it sort of gives you it gives you some more options as to how you whether you want to go through your opponent's hand and start ripping things. I just think it's a very good choice over that Krillin. So yeah. All right, and then we need to talk about our side deck. So weakness, I hate it. My group is trying to convince me that I need to have it in the side deck for dual attackers, but I still hate it. I don't like it because again, you want to prevent things from happening, and this feels like it doesn't prevent things from happening. You know what I mean? Like it just something is happening, and by the time you need it, it's already too late for it to activate. If that makes sense, that's how I would describe it. It doesn't work when you need it to. It's it's just I don't know. I don't like it. I don't really want it in my deck. Um, we have another sharp senses in case you need more negates. Another D magic for more negates. Self defense for more removal. 3 sensu beans. depending on what kind of deck you're going into. Like if you're going into a deck that swings a lot, having Sensu Beam will probably help you out because you'll be able to get yourself at 15. You'll ready up some energy, and you'll just be in a way better position. I have another two Ox Kings. Again, I don't really care for these guys. Now Roshi, I'm not sure how I feel about Roshi. He is your dual attack, and he does get rid of a card that your opponent plays. However, he just adds them to your hand. I don't know how I feel about that. So you can choose not to do it, but I did put two of him in the side deck because again, he is a dual attack, and if you have a blue Bulma card in play, not the leader, the actual like a battle card. I wish it would specify whether it was battle card or not. But if you have the battle card in play, you will in turn get to play him for an energy cost of one. So yeah, that's my side deck. I don't like it too much. I'm still gonna be messing around with it for a little bit. But yeah, this is my basic Bulma deck for now. It just right now I just want to play around with the ratios because again, like when I first played with this deck, I only had four of her and four of her. I didn't have the Pora in the deck, and I didn't know that these guys actually send themselves to my energy. So I actually want to see these so I can help myself ramp even faster. So yeah, because I feel like here's the thing, right? I feel like your first turn you ramp, your second turn you ramp, and then you have an energy saved up. If you, I feel like your second turn, right? If you don't ramp, right, you're sort of setting up for heroics prospect. So you get out that Krillin. Yep, you get out this Krillin, and then you go and you throw out heroic prospect during your opponent's second turn. So you're guaranteed a safe second turn that your opponent can't really stop you at. I mean, they can swing, but they got to give you cards. And then your third turn, you're going to be at 4 energy. So this gives you more options to ramp. You can also go into a Sun Gohan, Power Unshackled. There's just more options for you as long as you survive. If you don't survive, you're sort of but if you survive, you're good. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Um yeah, and I think that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think about my deck in the comments down below. Again, I've been looking at a lot of these decks, and I've seen some that I like. I've seen some that are a little bit wonky, but I feel like everyone just needs like a basic one. Like maybe like I would honestly say I could trade out the Ox Kings for the Roshis because at least the Roshis have dual attack. Um, the heroic prospects you could probably add one. Then you start getting into 56 cards. I'm not sure if that's where you want to be, but you know what? It might be better to actually split these evenly and go like 3-3. That way you have options for both. So like your turn two, you can go into heroic strike or heroic prospect, or you can pray. You know what I mean? And maybe God will help you out. Again, then you have this Yamcha over here that can help you get rid of things. I just feel like you have a lot of options. D Magics again. I would probably trade a D Magic for a Yamcha just to keep my again. I want to keep the deck at 55, and even 55 is pushing it. You know what I mean? Like if I could get rid of Ox King and go down to 53, I think I would. Again, the self defense, I like them. I do like the self defense because they let you get rid of cards. They let you build up your drop, and it just they do good things for you. I think you're. I just don't believe you need to have like 4 and 4. I think that's too much. Chi Chi though, you're definitely going to want to see because she helps you recycle. And there is a world, right, where I drop like these guys to 3 or like 10. You know what I mean? Because again, you want to see these first turn. You might not be able to do anything with them though. So it's 50-50. But yeah, um, no cards. What? Who's exceeding this? Oh, BT5050. BT5050. Who are you talking about, boy? Ugh. Hold up. Oh, I think you're talking about the D Magic that I have. Yeah. It's a D Magic. Yeah. So, yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video, yo. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Also, let me know what you all think about some of the new decks. Um, I think the yellow evolve is. I played against the yellow Goku deck where you evolve all the time, Diamond Coat, and I think it's good. It definitely has potential. I feel like I honestly feel like again Bulma's like the Krillin of this deck. In the hands of a good player, you are going to crush face, but you got to be a good player, which I will be, because I am on my way to be the very best there ever was. And I saw I did play against Red Goku, but I used Piccolo, and yeah, uh, like by turn two, I had him down to two life. Piccolo's so aggressive. I'm gonna show my Piccolo deck one of these days. And again, let me know actually. Also, let me know in the comments if you would prefer to see me do these decks through Deck Planet, or if you want me to set them up and show you by hand. Because I feel like Deck Planet is better. Um, but in all honesty, I don't mind because all I got to do is move my little camera stand over. So I don't mind. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will keep an eye on that. And yeah, um, like, subscribe, hit that fun button, and I will catch you all in the future. Have a good night. Peace.